or good afternoon. My name is Slavik Markovic. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Centrigo. And in this presentation, we're going to talk about securing sensitive data in the cloud, specifically database security and monitoring. So the agenda is we're going to cover some traditional approaches to database security. We'll see some of the technical challenges. We'll see a monitoring solution that actually works. And I planned a really cool demonstration, but unfortunately I'm at a place that blocks SSH access, so we'll just see a very small part of it. When we talk about database or data security, we have to understand that when you deploy data to the cloud, it's basically the same types of data that you really need to protect. That means customer records and PII, credit card numbers, account numbers, employee information, financial data, and so on. So basically, this information is subject to the same regulations that you traditionally had to deal with. So for credit cards, it's PCI DSS. For medical records, it's HIPAA. And basically for every industry, every vertical has its own type of regulation that you actually have to meet. Most of them talk about pretty much the same things around data, and we'll talk about it in a second. So when we look at the data, there is really high cost that is associated with a breach. So statistics show that a single record is probably costing an organization around $200. There are breach notification laws that kind of force you to go and tell the compromised customers that their information was breached, and now it's across 46 states and actually widely adopted worldwide. And except for in addition to the penalties and notification and so on, there's also a huge damage to your reputation and exposure to liability. So it's not that I'm saying don't move data to the cloud. Actually, it's our job as security professionals to accept innovation, but understand and be prepared for the risk. So even though you can think about the cloud as enabling it's elastic, so it can grow and you can run multiple servers and start instances at a time based on demand. That means that you really don't know eventually where is your actual physical data. And even though you're going to give administrators, or you actually are going to give most of the administrative costs to the cloud provider, that also means that you don't really understand who has privileges to access to your data. So there are now additional administrators that have physical access to your machines. And of course, your data is now globally available, but that introduces more risk around access controls. How can you control who's accessing the data because it's globally available? It's very easy to replicate instances in the cloud. You can just take a database and just create another 10 for testing or for failover and DR. But that also means that there are a lot of copies of data out there, and and you actually need to protect that as well. And of course, storage is very cheap, but it also comes with a price, so it's duplicated all over the place, and most providers basically do not encrypt their storage. So So basically it's up to you to take care of that. And of course, being in the cloud eventually saves you money, or that's the premise at least. But that means also that you have less control over things like